Yo, what's good? It's your boy Whispy. In this video, you guys, this is a new series basically derived for you guys, and a lot of the fan favorites and or my favorite theories that I see throughout my comments. Now, before I do start this theory, I want to make note that if you do not see your question in this series, that does not mean that I'm not going to include it within the Q&A and or other theories. The fact of the matter is that this is only for the theories that people send me, the actual paths that I feel as though people are following. And if I feel as though you are either strong within your path or your path actually creates some relevancies with mine, then I will showcase it so that we can create a dialogue between different hunters, so we can create more and more information so that it develops into something more concrete. But I do not want it to be known to be bias. I don't want people to think that I'm picking just my fans. I'm picking even the haters, even the people who honestly don't like me. But just because you diss me doesn't mean I'm going to put you in the theory. I want you to actually come up with a reason why you think as though yours is stronger. But until then, I would like the shit talk to be kept at a minimum, because it doesn't help any solution here. It only brings a lot of bullshit. So if you feel as though I'm annoying, or if you just don't like the videos that I produce, then you are well within your rights to not watch them or even unsubscribe. It is your choice. But if it's one thing I've made note throughout the mystery, it's choices. And at that point I ask you, if it's your choice, am I wrong? Okay, so for our first theory here is Mantis Religiosa. Thanks a lot, bro. His theory was really based off of my ideas on the Life Invader and the Space Invaders theory being tied to Pac-Man. And if Pac-Man is tied to the mystery, then Pac-Man could be tied to a movie called Colors. If you've never seen this movie, it's about Sean Penn and Robert Duvall, and there arrives to be cops against Bloods and Crips. One thing about Bloods is the fact that they represent a lot of aspects of red and blood physically, but Crips represent a lot of the aspects of blue and true. So the next theory here, well, it's not necessarily a theory, but it is a connection. It's from my boy Questions Answers, and he pretty much brings a huge connection towards the aspect of purple being tied to sapphire. But within a bad duality, this brings curses through gems and crystals, a lot of the things that we've been looking up in the game. I applaud you for this connection, bro. So the next theory here is from my boy Gary English, and he asks about a lot of relevancy towards the Atari 2600, but most importantly towards a hint that he found and a frequency that he found, that is the 2600 HZ frequency. So his question here is, does the frequency have any relevancy with the cell phones in the game and the many random cell phone numbers that are tied to absolutely nothing? When we just get a dial tone, is there a specific tone that we're supposed to look for, and does it trigger something? If any of you have noticed this tone, then please let me know. So the next theory here is from my boy Aaron Hughes, and it's been a long time sub here, and I appreciate every bit of you, but I'm just focusing purely on the theories that could have some relevancy in what we've brought up so far. What he asks is a lot of relevancy towards the planes in the game and the helicopters in the game, and he's wondering, is the fact that we have brought connection towards the helicopter being a bird, are the jets in the game tied to dragons? And I believe there's a lot of evidence toward this. when you actually consider, you guys, the fact that they subtly put this purple devil depiction in the pit tattoo parlor, and then they put the purple flames of the green dragon. And I feel as though you could be right, bro. You really could be right. But this is only to be taken with a grain of salt until you make your next connection. But you are on the right track to understanding. Okay, so this next theory is from my boy Jeff Boyd. And it's quite a big one, you guys, so I'm just going to sum up a huge part of what he's saying here. He believes a lot of the story's achievements give not only clues, but they can be significant triggers towards things that we have to actually pay attention to and possibly do. And one of the main achievements here that he points out that I feel as though is probably more relevant than most is something that he ties to the 6-star wanted theory, and possibly why they imply us to get a wanted level in the first place. This is the actual achievement that Jeff is talking about here, the 3-man army. Now, not only is it interesting that it's tied to the word army, but the army and military are tied to the 6-star. Now, his idea here is the fact that 6 can be representative of possibly the devil and all of the aspects above, but the fact that 666 is a mark of the beast, and it comes with 3 characters of a wanted level, okay? Now you have to figure the details of this 3-man army achievement are as such: survive 3 minutes on at least a 3-star wanted level with all 3 characters together but off of a mission. Okay, now why would they imply you to do something like this off of a mission if there were not triggers and or things that the game can recognize with the wanted level off of missions, okay, in free roam? Now, my biggest key to understanding certain things here are wordplays like survive. We've known in the mystery for survival to be a key aspect of Michael and what he implies Franklin to do, especially at the end and his monologue that he tells him, but also the aspect of 3 being tied to numerology and 6, but also it implies you to have at least, you guys, it says at least. So he could be really right, Jeff. You could be very right about the implication here, because if they're implying you to have at least 3 stars, that means 3 stars and above, possibly 6. And to save my favorite theory here for the last is my boy Emmett632. And he asked me, do I understand some of the relevancies between the person who played Lost and him playing Howard Hughes in The Rocketeer, and he also featured in The X-Files. Now, no, I did not know about this character until you brought it up to me. But I think a big part of this character has to do with his actual history and the things that not only he's done, but the things that we're just plain not looking at. Okay, look, I think people need to understand what I mean about connections when I actually do this shit. Like, don't get me wrong, you guys are on the right track. I'm trying to show you a lot of the main things, okay, that correlate. That way you can take that main thing and also understand that it always will bring you back to the source material, and that is your understanding. For this instance, we are going to understand something, and that is the relevancy between Terry O'Quinn, okay, Lost, and GTA. We are going to understand that it is relevant in more ways than one. But the fact of the matter is that yes, Terry O'Quinn is relevant, but not in just the way you think, okay? Bro, when you thought to look up Terry O'Quinn because of the fact that he played Howard Hughes, I think there's something here that the track talks about, and that is how we think backwards. And that's what I'm going to get into in a minute, but the first thing I want to show you here is the aspect of just some of his work and how it ties to the mystery. He actually featured in a Star Trek episode from the Next Generation called The Pegasus. And also a Twilight Zone episode, alright, in the 80s called Chameleon. So understand, even the aspects of wordplay count here. Whether he's winning a Saturn Award or the Independent Spirit Award. Far-fetched, maybe, but that's not the point. The point is that it brings more information. And the biggest bit of information here are the aspects of who he's played, like a character called Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes is very relevant in the aspects of movies and airplanes. Now, aside from just airplanes, he's featured in a few movies like Scarface, The Racket, Hell's Angels, and even The Outlaw. All of those titles have duality within the mystery and things that we have looked up, whether me or even herbalist, like a scar on a face, or a cowboy and or outlaw. But the aspects of a racket could tie within pong and or tennis. And Hell's Angels are obviously tied to the lost and the damned. But that is not the only thing we are supposed to understand about Mr. Hughes, and it only proves some of my point about the aspects of connections and how strong they are, whether tied to Hercules in Greek mythology or other things that have to tie within the game. Just like water and all of the aspects of Andrew Ryan being tied to Howard Hughes. This is a character within the game BioShock, and within BioShock is a place called Rapture. Even when it comes to the aspects of the stock market, they're all here, you guys, with a little movie called Tucker that was produced in 1988. It was completely premised from Dean Stockwell playing Howard Hughes and the faulty stock market being tied to a very rare Tucker sedan. So now that we've tied the aspects of water to the rapture, we can take the same ethic at how we learned that and understand something that is tied once again to the game, like a character named Robert House. He is also a duality of Mr. Hughes, and Howard Hughes actually put a big influence on the game Fallout New Vegas. And a lot of the aspects of Fallout New Vegas are tied to a post-apocalyptic world set after a nuclear disaster. Okay, so understand, you guys, because I don't want you to be too confused about this entire strategy and how I actually find things, okay? The point here is that we started with one understanding, okay? And that was one actor, okay, tied to one show, and that was Lost. And him being tied to different shows that may be relevant, like X-Files and other things, but that was only one. When you take upon the aspect of possibilities and Kiflam, you understand that not only are things tied to the rapture and water, but also a fallout and nuclear war. But once again, anyone can have the choice, okay, and or opinion to take it upon as fact that there's nothing here, or you can take it upon someone's word and or the faith that you have upon someone's credibility to bring new information, to show you that aspects of things that we have been looking up, such as Howard Hughes being tied to Rockstar, and that is L.A. Noire, as Hughes makes an appearance presenting his Hercules aircraft in the opening introduction of the game. So once again, you guys, like I said from the beginning, all of these things are tied so that they can bring one understanding, even though the clues are everywhere, right in front of your eyes.